fight against corruption. We seem not to have that clip ready. Moving on, the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ZACI, says the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, ACFTA, brings a bigger market for Zambia's goods and services. ZACI President Chabuka Kawesha says this is a platform for Africa to connect and grow its economy. He says government must strive to work hand in hand with the private sector. Mr. Kawesha has encouraged government to continue engaging various stakeholders in the plight of the agreement.
The Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement brings a bigger market for our goods, services, and products. And the consultative approach that the government has taken in that area is quite positive. In that, of course, we have to streamline and have implementation arms where the private sector is able to contribute and work very closely with the public sector and the various arms of government. So consultations are going on, approaches that can be used on how Zambia can sit and fit well in this larger market so that we don't disadvantage our positioning. So it is imperative, and we call upon the government to continue with a consultative approach with various sectors. I also call upon the respective district chambers across the country to send in their submissions to the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, so that in turn those can be filtered through to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry and other arms of government that may require our input, so that we make that impact that we can as a country in the bigger market. It's a big market, more than 1.2 billion people, population in Africa, and many goods, products, services that are required, and there's a major role that Zambia can play.
We take a break. Do stay tuned.
Istana ya Afrika ya kupende chalo akamwana kanono nomsepela kuikala chapamo kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumatero aliyenze afunika.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Place a bet, search on the web or get the app. 1xBet Bookmaker Company.
Welcome back. The New Heritage Party, NHP, has called on government to be proactive in addressing the gross domestic product, GDP, which was recently projected at 3.5% for the year 2022 to about 3.6% and 3.9% for the coming years 2022 up to 2024. Party leader Chishala Kateka says the rates cannot and will not cure the country's endemic problems, such as poverty, unemployment, among other pressing economic issues. She adds that without an adequately high growth rate, the aspirations for jobs and wealth creation will remain a pipe dream. Now, the Judith Kabemba's-led Democratic Party (DP) has joined a section of society demanding for the resignation of Director of Public Prosecution (DPP) Lillian Siyuni for alleged misconduct over the rearresting of former Konkola Copper Mines KCM provisional liquidator Milingo Lungu. Ms. Kabemba says inasmuch as she is one of those advocating for the appointment of more women in government positions, there is need for integrity to be upheld by those serving the public. She adds that it is therefore important for Ms. Siyuni to resign on moral grounds to give chance for people with high caliber.
Democratic Party, we are concerned about the continuous entering into nolle prosequi by the office of the DPP, because we strongly believe that when ACC, when DEC does their investigations, they make arrests, and then they commit somebody before court, it means that they have done the whole process of investigation and making sure that the evidence has been produced. And so when we begin to see nolle prosequi being entered into, especially those involving senior people in society, it begins to raise a red light, because we feel that this whole fight about corruption will be rendered useless. It will be rendered academic. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a situation where the people of Zambia will lose confidence in the Anti-Corruption Commission. They will lose confidence in DEC. And at the end of the day, there will be no fight for corruption. And subsequently, those who are given an opportunity to save the people of Zambia will continue to steal, knowing that a nolle prosequi will be entered at the end of the day. It is in this regard that we are calling on the DPP to make sure that the right things are done for Zambia. Zambia has been robbed so much through corruption, through abuse of office, through misappropriation of funds, and these people cannot continue going scot-free. And therefore, as Democratic Party, we want to appeal to the DPP that if Satellis Palibas, all things, it's time for her to resign. See that probably our fellow woman needs.
The ruling UPND Lusaka Province leadership room for the new Dawn administration to work properly. Lusaka Province Chairperson Obvious Mwaliteta says the DPP is making the fight of corruption impossible as she keeps defending the suspects. He alleges Ms. Siyuni is not fighting for the Zambian people but is still loyal to the previous government which employed her. Mr. Mwaliteta appealed to the DPP and other PF-aligned civil servants to resign on moral grounds.
Director of Public Prosecutions, as a party, we are very disappointed with her conduct. It's clear from her conduct that she's not with us, the new Dawn with us. When I say with us, I mean Zambian and the new Dawn government. Her behavior is clear that she pays allegiance to others and not to the president and his government. Mrs. Siyuni has remained loyal to the Patriotic Front government, a former party, and its leadership. Therefore, it has become extremely risky to continue with this woman as DPP because her agenda is to sabotage the government. As a party in Lusaka Province, we are demanding for her resignation. Let her resign on moral grounds. We all know that she's protected by the Constitution, but she has to resign because her allegiance is not with the president.
United Party for National Development UPND National Youth spokesperson Phineas Pumulo has dismissed allegations by the opposition Patriotic Front PF and Socialist Party leader Dr. Fred Membe, who have expressed concern that government officials have gone in areas of campaigns without public vehicles, which is against the law. Mr. Pumulo says the sentiments by the opposition are unfortunate because there is no single minister campaigning while using government vehicles as alleged. He has since advised the PF and other opposition parties to refrain themselves from what he terms as unfounded allegations. That story leads us to a break.
COVID-19 cases keep rising. Many business entities are affected in the COVID-19 pandemic by using effective disinfectants procedures such as knockdown and residual disinfecting that helps prevent and get rid of COVID-19. We do knockdown and residual disinfecting procedures for homes, offices, hospitals, churches, and many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfectants. Call Rumpi Enterprises on 0955 76 7835 or 0955 992230 or come to the third floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner of Dedan Kimati and Independence Avenue. Follow us on Facebook, Rumpi Enterprises Limited. Always remember to observe the COVID-19 guidelines. Mask up, sanitize, social distancing, and staying.
Welcome back. Now, Mutumba Liambela brings us a story where UPND Secretary General Batuka Imenda has advised his fellow politicians to let peace prevail in Zambia by engaging each other in a sober manner, even as they debate national matters such as the cost of living for Zambians and other social issues. Mr. Imenda was giving counsel to some named politicians who are fond of being antagonistic and provocative to the authority with a view of remaining relevant or seeking popularity. The UPND CEO says political players should depart from deliberately invoking violence or creating unnecessary anxiety in the country by making dangerous and provoking statements because there is only one Zambia to live in for all. Mr. Imenda was speaking in Mongu during the working visit and campaigns ahead of the Mongu mayoral election slated for 14th April 2022.
You know, there are times when as a human being, you want to make yourself relevant. And then in the process, you become irrelevant. In the past, people were used to hearing people like someone in my position as Secretary General giving orders to police, go and arrest that one, go and harass that one, go and do this. If you play with me, you can be fired. That is the kind of life that we were used to seeing in the last 10 years. They cannot believe that this country can run in a manner where a policeman makes an independent decision. So my advice to them is that let peace prevail. There are a lot of issues that are about to be debated. Issues of our economy, social order, governance should be debated freely without evoking violence, without creating unnecessary anxiety in the country, coming out with dangerous, provoking statements. So these people that are now seeing peace for the first time, order for the first time, are behaving in such a way that they behave as if they want to try and see, trying to challenge the authority. Let me sound SG Menda and let me see what's going to happen. So let me call President Hakainde Chilema names and let me see what's going to happen. My appeal to them is that we have only one Zambia, which we must protect at all costs.
Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo has hailed the Czech Republic for the immense contribution to medical equipment technology to the health sector and COVID-19 vaccination drive. And Czech ambassador to Zambia, Pavel Rychazka, says his government has set out 500,000 Pfizer doses in contribution to Zambia's current COVID-19 vaccination drive. Meanwhile, the Czech Republic has invited Zambia to the Health Forum, Czech Republic, Africa, slated for 17th to 19th May 2022 in the capital Prague. Together, this was revealed when Czech Republic ambassador to Zambia called on the Minister of Health at her office in Lusaka.
We are ready to donate you 500,000 COVID vaccines, Pfizer, and we are in contact.
That story brings us to the end of the primetime news bulletin, but before we go, we take a look at the headlines. Headman Mwa Lukanga slams at crooked Chinese investors in his area. TIZ proposes legal reforms to enhance the fight against corruption. DP joins calls to have the DPP Siuni resign from her position. New Heritage Party reminds UPND to control the skyrocketing cost of living. This has been the primetime news on Muvi TV, but before we go, we leave